Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Great deals right now. G3 fishing boats, discounts up to $1,500. Skeeter bass boats, discounts up to $1,500. Suncatcher pontoons, discounts up to $2,500. Godfrey pontoons, discounts up to $2,500. Hurricane deck boats, discounts up to $6,000. Madisonville Marine on Highway 411 North in Madisonville. There is no better place to buy a boat. All right, midway through our show, this is where we try and catch up a little from going over earlier. Josh takes a look at the scoreboard every week to see how Tennessee is affected by what's going on in the SEC. I said as we went to break, Tennessee controls their own destiny. Technically, they don't. Mr. Negative, Daniel Hood, pointed out Florida in the standings is still up there with Tennessee, and they beat Tennessee. Let's take a look at the standings. Josh, talk to us about what Tennessee's got ahead of them in terms of the SEC East race.
So if you look at the score results from yesterday that affect Tennessee in the East race, Georgia took care of Vanderbilt. Not a perfect performance. They probably weren't all that into it. The headline out of that game is Brock Bowers' ankle injury. They have 2 weeks to get ready for Florida, several weeks until they play Tennessee, but Bowers might be the best player in the country. Watch what happens there. Florida, more than 400 passing yards from Graham Mertz. They beat South Carolina, so John, as you mentioned, still in position there in the East standings. This one surprised me. I did not expect Missouri to beat Kentucky this way in Lexington, 38-21. So my takeaway there as we shift to the standings, we can cross off Vanderbilt, USC, Kentucky. They are not contenders in the SEC East. Tennessee is still a player. I think the Vols will be able to control their own destiny. Of course, they play Alabama before we see Florida in its next game against Georgia. But don't sleep on Missouri. To win the East, I'm still skeptical. Missouri has to go to Georgia later in the season, but Tennessee goes to Mizzou. They go to Columbia the week before playing Georgia. If Tennessee's in a position to knock off Georgia in the East, the Vols will have to be ready for Missouri because that is an improved football team this season.
All right, very good. Thank you, Josh. Chuck Cavalaris back with me. You have already set the Cavalaris line and the over-under. We'll reveal that a little later for people. What kind of things did you factor in?
Well, I tell you, one thing that really jumps out at you is the way, since he's gotten back in the starting lineup, Jalen Milroe, the deep passing game is there. And you got to see what he's doing hooking up with Trey Burton. I mean, that is a lethal kind of combination now.
The last 2 weeks, yeah, it's really come to life, as you can see right there.
But the thing that you got to like from a Tennessee perspective, Alabama has allowed 31 sacks this season. That is the most in the SEC. And in watching their game yesterday, the left tackle, it was like I was watching South Carolina's left tackle. The Arkansas defensive end had 3.5 sacks in that game. Arkansas had 5 sacks. Get this, 4 straight games Alabama has allowed at least 4 straight sacks. That's the kind of number that can tilt the game right there.
And you know, we've already discussed, and we'll discuss more, what Tennessee's pass rush is like and what they can do. Chuck, very good. We'll deliver the Cavalaris line a little bit later. Let me remind folks right there at the bottom of the screen, go ahead, use the QR code. We got plenty of you voting. It looks like the feeling great about the defense is still in the leader, but awful about the offense is catching up. So all you negative cats out there, now's your chance to make Sterling mad. Come on back. Let's talk about the Vols defense and debate how Alabama might have to deal with it, including that Tennessee pass rush when they aren't great against a pass rush. Come on back on the Sports Source.